Hi, everybody. This is Elena of the Witch's Box, and I'm here today with our Friday, 10 o'clock in the morning Pacific time live guided meditation. Hello. You guys just caught me trying to get my meditation script here all together. I see that some of you have already arrived. Good morning. I hope you're having a wonderful week. Today, early in the morning hours, we had our full moon in Virgo. It was a pretty big one, I have to say. Some big things are up around the earth element, about practicality, about like the substantive grounding of our lives. It's been a big full moon, I have to say. And for those of you who are part of the Moon Ritual Coven, um, the rituals and things for this full moon went live a couple of days ago, or maybe it was on Monday or Tuesday of this week. And for those of you who were asking, you can do the solo new moon. Sorry, excuse me. You can do the solo full moon ritual today, tonight, this weekend, even though the moon will now start to be waning from full to dark, because the spring cleaning ritual you can do at this time. This energy supports that. Okay, I don't know. I always tell myself that I'm gonna super duper clean my glasses before I get on here, and still, I said this before, I'm a super greasy girl, and not in a gross way, but I'm always moisturizing, and apparently I always touch my face too. So my glasses are constantly like just embarrassingly smeared. So are my computer screens. It's a mess. Okay. Let me see who's here. Hello, Emily. Hi, Emerence. Hello, good morning. Hi. Hi, hi, hi. Wonderful. Emily, I see that you got a new addition to your family, and I don't know if it's a he or she, but looks adorable. It's like you want to squeeze. The cutest thing. Any announcements here? A bunch of single boxes are going out in the mail today that were purchased throughout the week this week. You guys were on a fairly amazing shopping spree to get all those boxes. But we still have a few of the unhexing boxes left. We still have a few of the A Lantern in the Dark / Lunar Node book bundle available as well. What else do we have available? We still have a couple spaces left for the live Bookish Witch retreat, and we've been selling spaces for our virtual retreat that's happening in April. Keep it coming. It's going to be amazing. I'm really, really excited about it, and I'm probably more. This is what's strange about the whole thing. I'm almost more excited, not probably, but almost more excited about the lead up and the preparation that we need to do to get ready for this virtual retreat than anything else, because I feel like there are a lot of lessons just in the approach that would be really a benefit to all of us. And I'm excited about talking about that and getting into that with everybody. And I think that that's it in terms of announcements. We have equinox is coming up in a couple of days. An email about the equinox, both spring and fall for the Southern Hemisphere, will be going out later on, late this afternoon, my time. And I think that that's it. That's it for announcements for today. She's a little girl pug puppy. Oh my God. Have you named her? I just uploaded a walkthrough of the new unhexing box on my YouTube channel, and the puppy is also in the video. Oh my God, her name is Coco. That's amazing. Oh my God, I want a pet so much. My husband and I on when was it? On Wednesday night, we just were like, we need a break. And so we took off and went to the movies, and we went to go see the movie Dog. I think that's the name of it, with Channing Tatum. And I'm a sucker. First of all, hi. My fantasy dream come true is to have a million animals living with me in bed. I need to have that in my life. I don't because of our lifestyle, but one day, one day. But anyway, we went to go see this movie, and of course I'm like, I cry, and it's like all heartwarming, and it's a whole thing, and I liked it. It was a fun movie. But Coco is a sweet name. All right, my loves. What else do we need to talk about before we start getting into our meditation? This is a fairly easy one. This is not one that requires any visualization at all. And this really is a practice in intentionally shifting the emotion or state that you are embodying at the moment. this applies to everything. We're doing it with happiness, but it can also apply to joy. It can apply to peace. It can apply to feeling love. It can apply to all the things. So it's really, the formula is, remember when you felt such and really get into that memory, and then keep that memory with you and be in that state to see how that alters your state. The lesson there is that we have more control over the state that we're walking around in than we think. Yeah. And that can be incredibly helpful just in terms of our mood and the way we look at life and approach life and engage life. But it can also be incredibly powerful, and a powerful skill to have when it's really important for you to embody a certain state of being when you're going to cast a spell, right? Because the state of being that you're in when you cast a spell also influences the spell. So the implications or the benefit or the application of this kind of thing is really far reaching in our magical lives. Thank you, Emerence. Emerence is loving the unhexing box and the books. I'm really excited about. I can't wait till we hang out with Danielle next. Is it next week? It's next week. No, it's in a week and a half from now. I can't wait. And then the book, I'm really excited about the books for next month too. And I'm really excited about the next two boxes. The boxes that are going to go out in a couple of weeks, I'm excited about. But I just got a full-on download. I had other plans for the May box, right? April, for the May box. And then in my own personal meditation and my own personal work, this thing just came through for what we're going to be doing for May. It's more of my own personal ritual work, so I'm going to be sharing that with you, but I'm so excited about this book. I mean, not this book, this box. The books too, but this box in particular. Hemron says, I'm halfway through the Hex Twisted and eager to get back to the Lantern in the Dark. I know there's a lot of reading this Monday. If you're subscribed to both, there's a lot, but you know, it's what it is. Yes, we do get to meet Danielle. Danielle will be with us. I got to look at my calendar because I think our live is on it's the last Tuesday, which I think is the 29th. I could be wrong. Yes. So Tuesday, the 29th at 6 p.m. for everybody who was either subscribed to the books and got the books, or those of you who bought the single bundle. You're all invited, and we're having a live on Zoom at 6 o'clock that Tuesday night on, what did I say, the 29th? And she'll be there. So bring all your questions, all of your astrology questions, bring them. She will be there for all of that, and I'm really just thrilled. I can't wait. She's just very cool. Author meet, yeah, very exciting, very exciting. Hi V, also welcome. All right, let me drink some of my yummy latte because Mama needs it. Oh, hey. All right, start getting comfortable. If you have candles and if you have your incense and you need to light that now, start to transition and do that. I'm getting my Delio here ready. There we go. Beautiful. I'm going to light my candle. Okay, and then close your eyes and start the way we always enter, which is by paying attention to your breath and to the sound that your breath makes coming in and out of your body. You can also start paying attention to what the sensation of your breath feels like in your throat, in your nose, in your chest. Just tuning in and paying attention. And now slowly begin to breathe with intention. You want to lengthen your breath. You want to go in deeper, slower, like you're savoring every sip of air that you're taking in. And then likewise, when you release it slowly. Almost like your lovers, right? And you want to make every nanosecond last together. You want to really just slow down that breath, really feeling it as it enters your body. It expands your lungs and your rib cage, and then slowly letting it go like, oh, it's almost sad to see it go. And you can play with how much you take in, right? So take in as much as you can, expand your lungs and rib cage as much as they'll go, and then play there, right? Breathe deeply at this depth for a couple of breaths to see if that's comfortable. And then you can adjust a little bit so that it's still deep, it's still slow, but maybe you want to find a sweet spot so that there's not a lot of big effort. There's intention, but there's not forceful effort. So now you're breathing with increasing steadiness, breathing through your body and sinking into that rhythm. You want to let that air expand so that now you start to breathe with your full body, right? As if your body is hollow. It's not, but as if it were. It inflates, it breathes all that air in fully, receiving it completely, and then relaxing to let all of that air out. When you feel the distractions come in, just bring the focus back to the breath and to the sensation. Don't fight it, and there's no need to engage in frustration. If there's a distraction, that's okay. It's totally common, it's totally natural. You acknowledge it, and then on your exhale, you just let it go and return your attention back to the breath. That's the practice, right? We return back to the breath over and over and over again. That's the meat and the juice of meditation. So that each inhale brings you further and further into your body, opening you up to receive, and each exhale is a release of tension and anything that isn't serving you right now. Just linger here, indulging. It's an indulgence to be here in this practice and to really savor your breathing. Now, while you're breathing, I want you to remember a time when you felt happy. It can be the last time you felt happy or another memory that comes to mind, but just recall a memory where you felt genuinely happy. And don't spend a lot of time on the entire story or memory. Rather, just hone in on how you felt. Like, what did you feel? How did you know that you were happy? If it's a challenge, and it's a challenge to just focus on the feeling of happy, return to the breath. Just do that for a while and then try again. Sometimes it's challenging to separate the feeling from the story or the experience. And what we really want to hone in on is how you felt, right? It can be the most quick passing of happies, and it doesn't have to be a huge moment. It can be a simple one, which might be easier. Was there something funny that you laughed at? Did you connect with something or a person or yourself in a way that felt happy? Did you find that long lost $5 bill in a pocket and you had a moment, a flash of happy? It can be any moment like this. The reasons why don't matter here. It could be that little bit of chocolate, anyone will do. And when you have that memory, think about, what did that feel like for you? Like, how did you know you were happy? How were you holding your body in that moment when you felt happy? And if it helps to kind of bring the memory to life for you, try to emulate how you were holding your body then to how you were holding your body now. Try to mimic that. Was there any anxiousness in your happy? Or were you momentarily free of anxiousness while you were happy? What did your face feel like when you were happy? What did it look like when you were happy? Where were your shoulders when you were happy? Were they down low, a little higher, up by your ears? Where do your shoulders sit when you're happy? How do you breathe when you're happy? I want you to stay there. Stay in that memory right now. Keep the breathing going long and slow and deep, and just be here in this feeling. Can you bring the feeling in your body right now? Can you feel the happy? And can you choose this state for yourself just right now, without story, without any equivocation, without the yes, but I'm feeling this right now? Could you just choose to feel this right here, right now, inside of yourself? You can. You can. Breathe it into your cells until you are fully immersed in the field of your happy. And breathe it in over and over and over again. Each inhale is a furthering into this state, and each exhale is a release of anything that's getting in the way. Let each inhale deepen you in this memory, touching every single cell of your being. I want you to be greedy about it. Really, really be greedy about this internal state, this memory that has shifted you. Breathe in more and more and more. Sink in deeper and deeper into what it feels like within yourself to have a happy moment. And as always, if distractions or emotions come up, honor them, acknowledge them, and then let them go with the exhale. Just breathe in the happy. Just be in the happy. I want you to continue for the next 3 rounds of breaths. So 3 more. And then bow internally to yourself in gratitude for the experience and for opening up to the experience, whatever it may have been. And when you're ready, transition back here to the group. I'm going to invite you to take some time to journal if you need to. Journal your experience. Was it challenging coming up with that emotion? Was it challenging trying to decide how you actually felt or what it is that your sensations were around the last time you were happy? And then also write down a couple of words about what the experience was to conjure that up for yourself now and to try to move into that state right now by choice and with intention. And then when you're ready, just come back to the group and check in the chat and let us know how that was for you. And in a minute, I'm going to say some words about this. Actually, I'm going to say a lot of words about this, maybe. We were in the meditation for a fairly short amount of time. It can be a really short meditation. Some of us who either have practiced this or practice presencing to some degree in our daily practices might have an easier time recollecting or remembering a state, an emotional state, and then just kind of bringing it up fairly quickly. And for some of us, it takes a little longer. The other thing is that depending on where you're at right now, it may be really easy and it may be really challenging, right? All of that is totally normal and common. But on the back end, doing something like this for any emotional state is really a great workout towards later in your practices embodying or aspecting a deity or an entity, because the ability to really come into or bring into yourself a different state and shift can be an incredibly great skill, not just for that, which is an intermediate to advanced skill to embody or to aspect a deity, but also if you are trying to create a state or create a spell, create some sort of manifestation for yourself, your emotional state is really critical to how well you do that, right? And so if, for instance, I want to work on healing, if I can get into an emotional state or an internal state of being that is in alignment with that, maybe it's joy, maybe it's acceptance, maybe it's yeah, the full embrace as opposed to being in constant resistance. Maybe it's a sense of safety, right? Because maybe my illness is being perpetuated by a constant state of fear, right? There are so many ways to use this. And the more we're able to, I want to come up with a different word, but the more we're able to really master our capacity to choose how we are and what state we're in, the better we are at pretty much everything in our lives. And this isn't about being in denial. This isn't about like, oh, I'm mourning, but I'm going to try to pretend that that's not happening and be happy. That's not what this is. This is really about coming into alignment with a state that you have been in before as a way to shift your energetic signature, your energetic like vibrancy. Yeah. So you can linger in this for as long as you want. You can do this. Sometimes it might take an hour to really get into that state. That's totally fine. The road from I'm not there to I'm there, there's all sorts of things that are going on, all sorts of benefits that come to you from being in this kind of practice. And then again, like I said, sometimes it's a matter of like, oh, I can like, psst, I'm in, I'm totally in it. I got it, right? But once you got it, hang out there for a while, like really hang out there and get greedy about it. Fuel it even more with your breath, with your intention, with being fully present with what does it really feel like? I mean, have you really thought about it? What does it really physically feel like when you're happy? What is different about you when you have a moment of like, and you get really happy about something? What shifts like that? Those minute details that we often don't even register are really great. It's great information for when we want to come back into that space later. We can really conjure that back up, right? And the conjuring isn't just the, oh, I want to be happy. It's the, where is the sensation in the body? What does my body do when I'm happy? What does my face do when I'm happy? Is my jaw still clenched or does somehow everything relax? Right? This is how we really begin to piece together how our bodies and our souls and our minds and our emotional states, all of those things are one. They all do different things in those moments. We don't think that they are because our mind is maybe on the thing, the outside object, the source, quote unquote, of our happiness. But there's a whole world of things going on when we have that kind of response to our environment. So paying attention to that is really important. And then now that you've done this meditation, um, and you may have found that I have no idea what my body does when I'm happy. I have no idea where my shoulders are when I'm happy. I have no idea what my breathing is like when I'm happy. If you don't know, now the next time you have that moment, there's a seed somewhere in you where the next time you have a happy moment, check in. Just do a check in. Like, wait, what's happening? Am I smiling? Am I like, oh, like what's happening on my face? Where are my shoulders? What's going on in my body? Because oftentimes too, if we're really, really tense, if we're incredibly stressed, we can use this tool as a way to open and to relax and to release. Yeah. So it can be done for happiness. I said this already. Joy, ecstasy, bliss, focus, determination, motivation, inspiration. All of those things are states of being that we can practice embodying out of the spontaneous experience. Does that make sense? So I'm going to go for a second. I'm going to drink. Emran said that this was a nice one. I'm glad. Let me think. Hold on a second. And again, this, like all the other ones, these are tools that you can always come back to here and check out and see which one calls to you most and practice it. I like this. I do this before I do a spell, um, especially if I always try to carve time out for myself, like a day or two in advance. Like, I'm going to do this, and I really strategically plan like what I need for the spell, why I'm doing it. I need to write it all down. And then in the approach, because the approach is so important, I'll give myself a day or two, depending on what the spell is. Sometimes I light a bay leaf on fire, and that's my spell. It's like a spontaneous thing. But sometimes, like, I am in the process of crafting a significant one right now. I give myself leeway and I give myself approach time. And in the approach, I try to leave my schedule fairly open so that when I show up, I'm fully there. But, life happens. And if all of a sudden I get a call, I get a letter, I get this and that, and almost all of a sudden the stress is just really high, this is an exercise that I employ in order to get into the state that I need to be in so that I can then approach it clearly and intentionally, but also in full alignment. So it can have, oh, I am so sorry. Why did that make that noise? Anyway, ding. Like that. Erin says an hour to get there and it's for about 2 minutes and it's gone. Or it just happens and it's like a warm bath and you feel like floating like wispy clouds. Beautiful. An hour to get there and it's for about 2 minutes and it's gone. Yeah, but then we can come get it back, right? I mean, look, we live in a pretty big environment. We live in a pretty busy, noisy environment. And it is a very common thing to feel more than 18 things like in a nanosecond, right? Like our states can shift drastically from moment to moment based on our external stimulus. Part of, like I say this a lot, and I want to say this in a million different ways, part of why this is more of a path working type meditation where I'm leading you through a journey. But this type of meditation, just as much as the meditations that we would do in silent meditation, where we go silent and we just breathe and we don't have anything going on, we let go of the distractions, right, as they come. Part of what happens when we do this as a practice over and over and over again is that we are less inclined or less exposed, less vulnerable to being buffeted from one thing to the next, always from the outside, where my mood is completely and utterly dependent on whatever is going on out here. The more we do this, the more grounded and anchored we are within ourselves, and the more capacity we have to be consistent with our state, regardless of what's happening out here, right? We can hold on to those states, and not even as a holding, we just exist in those states for longer and longer periods of time. I am not at the mercy of every single thing coming at me all over the world, right? And the implications of that, right, and how that applies to our magical life and our spiritual life is that we are more present when we are like that to the things that we're truly wanting to pay attention to and be connected to. We're more present to the energy in the room. We're more present to the fact that, my two ancestors are standing right there. I'm more present to, there is something disturbing the spirit of place in this environment right now, and I'm not quite sure what it is, but I can tell, right? The more we're anchored, the more we're in alignment, the more we're stable here, the more capacity we have to understand our environment, to feel our environment, to be connected with our environment. We're witches. We walk in this liminal world all the time. We have a foot in here and a foot over here, right? And our ability to communicate and be in that beautiful, magical dance with all of it gets supported and fueled by practices like this when it gives us the space and the capacity to be tapped in and present. So, super simple meditation, super simple practice, but the implications are far reaching and it's a benefit for all of us in every way. So, like that. Yeah, like that. If there are any questions, this is the time to ask. I don't know what else I need to say other than we're having a seasonal shift this weekend, right? 18, 19, 20, yeah, Sunday-ish, depending on where you are on the planet. I think that in the Southern Hemisphere, it'll be Monday, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Oh no, or maybe it's the other way. Maybe in the Southern Hemisphere, it's tomorrow. I don't know. You guys are on a different schedule. You're not on a different schedule, but your calendar looks different. But I want to say a couple of things. I myself am actually going to be sending you an email with a long list of just suggestions on all the different things that you can do for either the spring equinox or the fall equinox. There are probably a ton. I think on YouTube I saw a bunch of different people who have videos about all of these things and different rituals that you can do. But here's what I want to say. Don't feel like if you don't do something spectacular for the changing of the seasons that somehow you're not a good witch. Not all witches celebrate the Sabbats. Not all witches celebrate all of them. Like one of the things, oh gosh, I'm trying to remember her name. Oh, Emily, maybe you can help me. She was the author of the Lemon and Rosemary book. Rachel, I want to say was her first name. I could be totally wrong. I cannot believe I don't remember her name. In any case, she wrote this in her book, which I love that she wrote this because it's so true, that Not all witches celebrate all the Sabbats. It doesn't necessarily always make sense for your environment, right? You may not go through 4 seasons in the place that you live. You may just have like a slight spring and a big summer. It just depends on where you are. But also, the each of those Sabbats may not be really relevant to you and your cosmology and the way that you relate to your witchcraft life. That's totally okay. And then in this book that she wrote, that we had, is it Lemon and Rosemary? Oh my God. Emily, please help me out. I'm like spaced. But towards the back of the book, she talked about pick the ones that are meaningful, pick the ones that you naturally find yourself celebrating in one way or another. Like for me, I naturally celebrate mostly the fall, right? Fall equinox and Samhain are like my like I no matter what, that's just a natural inclination for me. The rest aren't. And then there are some years where Bridget or February 1st is a really important thing for me. And then there's some years where I just walk right through it and that's it. So pay attention to which ones are meaningful to you and why, which ones come naturally for you to celebrate and why. Don't feel like you have to do anything. Yeah. Um, and the other thing is that it can be super simple. It can literally just be I'm giving an offering to the world around me, to the earth in my immediate environment, to the spirits of place and land in my immediate environment to say I see you, I honor you. I recommit again to serve you as much as I can. And it can be as simple as that. So don't feel, thank you, Rachel Henderson. Oh my God. The Scent of Lemon and Rosemary. This was such a beautiful book. The Scent of Lemon and Rosemary by Rachel Henderson. She wrote about this at the end of that book. Not the end, but towards the end, because I'm remembering that where it was when I underlined it. So don't feel like you have to vibe into what feels natural to you. And then two, for those of us who are in the Northern Hemisphere, this is spring cleaning is spring cleaning. There is something really very therapeutic and magical about refreshing. Refresh your space, refresh your altar, refresh your bed, like just give it a refresh. And that can be ritual enough, honoring enough. So check in with yourself. What makes the most sense? What feels most meaningful? And then do that. You're a witch because you are a witch. That's all there is to it. Okay, I'm going to go back to this. Emerin says, monkey chaos. Those days are intense, overwhelming, and you need to be able to meditate and can't, but you just can't. Those are the days I have learned to not force it, but try again later. Yes, and that's the other thing. Absolutely. Thank you for saying that, Emerin. Sometimes just be okay with yourself. Be gentle, right? And be responsive to yourself in the sense that if you check in and you're like, I'm just not in it, man. I'm just not in it. I can't do it, then don't do it. Don't do it. We have enough forcing upon us. You don't need to force yourself. Um, yeah, and then in the days when that happens, and ooh la la, yes, absolutely. Sometimes even if it's just a 5 minutes to honor, yeah, absolutely beautiful. It is okay. So Rachel Henderson is one. This book, I feel like I should pull it out again. I said this when she was on when we had her for our live witches book gathering. And I'm pretty sure that I said this when I did the review here on BookTube because the book has been reviewed here on YouTube by me. Um, and I don't know what her genius is. There's genius there because there is something about the book. It's the same type of experience that I have when I read Scott Cunningham, but in a different way. It's a different vibe. But there's something about reading that book that just created such a deep, profound coziness. And the book wasn't, I don't think, intended to be cozy, but I felt like I was just enveloped in this beautiful warm blanket while I was reading this book. And it feels like it's a beautiful book to read almost as a way to honor a changing of the seasons because there was something about it that felt so, I don't even know how to explain it. It's really a lovely book. So if you didn't get it, we don't have any more, but there's certainly, you can get them on Amazon. Grab the book. It's really a beautiful, beautiful book. Seasonal cleaning, spring cleaning, fall cleaning, winter cleaning. Yeah, and that's the other thing. Clean every season as a way to like, okay, we're starting something new. You can. You don't have to, right? All right, my loves, let me take another drink. What do I need to say? We'll be here next Tuesday live. And be here next Tuesday live. And I think that that's it. That's all I really have for for announcements like that. Oh, actually, one more thing. For those of you who have registered and are coming to our live Bookish Witch retreat, I'm so sorry. I think it was Jamie who suggested, I don't remember, I think it was a J name. So I think it was Jamie who suggested that I create, or maybe it was Chris. I don't know who it was. I think it was Jamie, Jesse. In any case, who suggested putting together like a forum for those who are coming to the Bookish Witch retreat so that you guys can start connecting before we actually get here. I'll have that done by the end of the weekend. So you be on the lookout. Be on the lookout for an email so that you guys can start chatting with each other. So excited about this. Erin says it was amazing when she was there to get the essence of when she was writing the back information. Just made it. Yes, yes, yes. I know it's always great to like hear from an author like what inspired this, like what was the driving force behind this book that you wrote. I know. I just love it. I mean, I feel like at this point, yeah, I don't even know. I if I can make everything that we do here just about books, I would. Basically, although we're pretty book heavy now, but it's such a great thing. Where can I get the bristles instead of buying a whole broom? Uh, Unhexing talks about a natural broom. Where can you get the bristles? Okay, stop. Let me think. Okay, well, first of all, I would check on Etsy for sure because there are quite a few witchy people who are. Why is this beeping so loud? What is going on with my? There are people who are, I think, who will sell you what you need to put the broom together, and natural bristles for sure. And I'm trying to remember what natural bristles are called. They're called something. Okay, but all that to say, I would look on Etsy. The other place I would look, I don't know, maybe this is kind of a little bit of a shot in the dark, but there's a store online called dried.decor.com, if I'm not mistaken, and it's got a lot of just dried botanicals. They may have what you need there. And then who else? The other place, I think where you live in Vegas, this is I remember this from a very, very, very long time ago. I don't even know if this is a true story anymore. But back in the day when I was doing a ton of rituals here and organizing big group rituals, part of the ritual planning was to go down to LA to the flower district like at 4 in the morning. And the flower district would have the dried like loose bristles that you can buy to do crafts and flower arrangements and stuff, and you can get it super duper cheap, especially if you can get a hold of or you had a wholesaler's license or a retail license or whatever. um I haven't done that I'm over a decade, but that's another place where you can get it, and or maybe you can go to one of your florists in your neighborhood and see if they can like source some for you. Try all that. um I know. What is the name? Emily, do you know? I found a natural broom in a special antique botanical pottery and witchy shop in Devon, England. I know it's called something. I just don't know what. We're all gonna have to sit with that to see if that name comes through. But yeah, those are the resources I think that are coming up to mind for you, Emirates, because I can't think of anything else. I have to think that you guys have a flower market going on in Vegas or in Nevada, but maybe you don't. I don't know because it's been a long time. I just remember, oh my God, it was like the Disneyland of flowers. The Flower Mart in LA is like it was like part of my whole ritual experience. You had to go down and we'd get like $100 worth of flowers, but $100 worth of flowers was like the back of a truck, like, and so beautiful. And then on top of the flowers, you'd have all the like flower arrangement stuff, and bristles and things would be part of that. Oh my God, I need to do that one day. Um, no, like it'd be some no, no, no. It's like the actual bristle, which is dried something. It's not hay. It's a dried it's a type of dried uh thick grass, if I'm not mistaken. Um mm, Also, I don't know. I mean, I'm not on Instagram anymore, anywhere near as much as I used to because we have wonderful Emily who manages that. But um, there is a partnership of two women who run a witchy shop. It's not necessarily a witchy shop. They make short and longer, like with like short stemmed brooms. They are exquisite. And we used to follow them. I haven't seen anything by them in a very, very long time. Um, and they make small batches. Like I wanted them at one point, this is like years ago, to make brooms for all of us for the subscription, but they only make really, really small batches to keep the integrity of the work, which I totally respect because also they take a long time to make. They might be someone to reach out to, but I, for the life of me, cannot remember their names. Oh, Emily, you got a question there from Jacqueline. Let me look. While you get an answer from Emily. I don't remember what their names were. They made some cool, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful brooms. Yeah, I'm not gonna be able to find this because I don't want to be on the phone while I'm being recorded. But anyway, that should give you some. I know Emily rocks. Emily manages Thicket. Is that what it's called, Robin? Thicket? Oh, I love it. See, we've got what we need here. I love it. Okay, so do some research. There you go. Although, hintity hint hint hint, the next box has a broom coming. So there you go. That is the big hint for the April box, right? April, yeah, April box. Wonderful. England has got some cool witchy shops. Although I've only ever really been to Glastonbury and then, or Glastonbury and then what is that cute little place in New Forest? Like the witchy town, Emily? I was just talking to Tree about this. Is it Burley? I think it's Burley. They've got a couple of really cool witchy shops. Craftmongers, I think, was the shop. All right, good. So you guys, so you have some research to do, but you've got some good names and places to check out. And that's it. I will see you all on, when will I see you? I will see you on Tuesday for our live oracle reading and hangout. And yeah, like that. All right, have a wonderful equinox. Be safe. Enjoy the changing of the seasons wherever you happen to be. And I will see you soon. Bye, everybody.